Hello everyone, I hope everyone is staying safe. This is a very scary time in the world, and please, if you can stay home, please stay home. I know in the beginning there was so much misinformation about this virus. People were saying that it was just the flu, but we know now it is so much worse. And it doesn't just affect the elderly. People who have poor immune systems aren't dying as well or getting really, really sick. And some young people, because it affects the lungs and it has lasting damages. So please don't think that just because you are young, you are safe. You're not, and if you go out, you're just being selfish, unless you have to. And I want to thank all those who are staying home, and I want to thank all those who can't stay inside, like doctors and nurses and all the jobs that are essential, because I know from firsthand that it is scary. My mom is considered an essential worker, so twice a week she has to drive to New Jersey, in Jersey City, and visit people. And it is so scary for her, and for when she comes back, we go through this whole ritual of wiping down everything, the doorknobs, and she takes a shower and changes her clothes and washes her hands and does all of that. But it's still very scary, especially since my dad is one of those high-risk cases. So it is very scary to have to work during this time, and I know it is very scary for those who aren't essential and have to stay home because you're worried about money. I just urge everyone to do the best that they can and just stay safe. I know that through this whole time, my anxiety is going through the roof. I already have really bad anxiety, and so this isn't really helping. But we just try our best not to think about it. And when my mom does have to go out, we do our best to stay safe. And the point of this video is that I picked out a couple books that I want to read during this quarantine time. I live in Pennsylvania, so we have about 3 more weeks of quarantine here, if not longer. So I try to pick books that I want to read. I don't want to think about book challenges or having to read a certain amount of books during a month because I want more content. I just want it to be for the purpose of having fun, because I think that is the best approach going through this quarantine. Because if I'm already stressing about what books to read and I'm not having fun with those, and then I start thinking about what's going on in the world, and it's not a good way to approach this. So I picked out 5 books that I think will keep me from worrying. The first one, which I started yesterday, is Just a Breath Away by Carleen Thompson. She is a mystery thriller author, and I think this might be the only book I haven't read of hers yet. I love her stuff. I can read them really fast and I get sucked into it. It's one of my guilty pleasures. It is basically a standard mystery thriller novel, but I always am entertained by them. This is about Kelsey Marsh, whose sister was gunned down in front of her along with the gunman. So she doesn't really have answers on why this happened. But the police go into his mobile home and find pictures of her and her sister, and Kelsey with a big bullseye on her picture. And she's wondering if he was a hired hitman and if Kelsey was the intended target. I haven't been disappointed yet with her books, so I'm sure I will really like it. The second book is I want to reread Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets by J.K. Rowling. Everyone knows what this is. I'm not going to tell you in details what this book is. It's been years. I think I've read this once. I haven't reread the series, which I want to start now, because how many years ago did this come out? I don't even want to think about it because I was very, very young. And I'll love it again. I read Sorcerer's Stone last year and I really loved it, and I know this is a series that isn't going to change for me. I know some books that you reread from your past has a different meaning, and it sometimes kind of ruins it for you, but I know Harry Potter will always be loved, and I know I will be sucked into it, and everything else in the world will just fade away, be in the background, which is what I need. I want to read The Lord of the Rings Part 1, The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien. Again, I read this so many years ago, and I want to read the series. This is the only book I've read of the series. Even though I love Lord of the Rings, I've watched all the movies, I love the world and the characters, but for some reason, I don't know why, I never continued with the rest of these books, and I love this one. And one of my goals is to read all of them this year. So I want to start now because I think it's the perfect time to do it. The fourth book I want to read is Flowers in the Attic by V.C. Andrews. This is a book that's been on my TBR forever. For some reason, I just never pick it up. I think with book challenges and books I get at the library, I always push this back. But since I can't go to the library and I'm not going to worry about book challenges, I think it's the perfect time to just read this. I've read a lot of V.C. Andrews books because she's only written a couple before she died, and then ghostwriters after that. And so I've read a lot of the ghost written books, and I think I only read 2 of her actual books, and this will be the 3rd, and I really like those. They have a different feeling to those than the ghost-written ones. It's very gothic and just disturbing. And I know this story is disturbing. I don't want to give it away, but I think most people know why this book is disturbing. And the last book I want to read during quarantine is The Burning of Bridget Cleary by Angela Bjork. I watched the episode of Lore on this, and it's just such a messed up story. And so when I saw this, I knew I wanted to read this because I already know what it's about and I want to know more about it. If you don't know what this book is, it is a true crime book that took place in 1895. This is about Bridget Cleary, who got really sick and then disappeared. When she came back, there were rumors that she was a changeling, left behind by fairies or evil spirits, and then one day the real Bridget Cleary would come back on a horse. I don't really understand that, but okay. I want to know more about that. And then Bridget's body was found in a shallow grave, badly burned, and her father, husband, aunt, and 4 cousins were arrested for her murder. And it was such a strange and awful lore that I saw that I'm so interested of reading this. And it seems so much different than all the other true crime books that I've read. And if I don't feel like reading them, I'm not going to feel guilty for putting them down. And I don't want to feel guilty that I haven't read a lot of books. I just want to relax and just try to focus on positive things and not stress about reading. So I'm pretty sure I would want to read these books, but if I start reading it and I don't, I'm going to put them down. I'm not going to push through like I always do. And I'm not going to try to read a ton of books if I don't want to. So those are the books that I want to read. And everyone, please stay safe. Bye.